Unbelievable! I feel great!
We are live with William Coney, or Coneys.
Coneys, yeah.
Coneys, known as Kid Wolf in the tricking community. People that don't know him, I just want to actually share a screen so that people get a glimpse of the hard work you have put into obtain those beautiful skills. Man, I've been always inspired by your style. I
appreciate that.
Some recent stuff from yours I wanted to share here.
Yep. And I appreciate that. Like I said, I've put a lot of my life into my tricking and a lot of my heart into it, and I'm always glad that people can enjoy it and they can really see the movement and artwork behind it. So, and that makes me happy to hear.
Man, what is where are you currently in? You're in Virginia, you said, or America, right?
Yes, I'm currently in Virginia right now.
And what you're currently up to? What are you busy with? I mean,
honestly, honestly, it's just been a lot of working. I know with the COVID-19 stuff, like jobs have been closed down. So currently, right now, I'm just at home, just relaxing. My body's been taking a 2 to 2.5, 3 month break for the most part, because I'm always training and always, going to events and stuff. So my body definitely needed the break. But right now I'm just, kind of relaxing, taking time, just keeping myself as busy as I can, doing a little editing, getting little clips here and there, but just have been relaxing a lot.
And I mean, the most people are really interested in your background. Like mostly, I mean, everything started for me. How I got aware of you was your first concrete sample. I haven't looked it up, but it must be somewhere on your channel.
I think, it's on Jefferson Lewis's channel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that concrete sampler, that was actually really, really, really funny. The concrete sampler, like that one was, I've actually been training. I've trained on concrete forever and a day. Like I've trained on concrete for years. And the funny thing is like that day, was the first day where I actually really just decided to kind of go more out in the open with it, like more out to the public with it. And that sampler, I landed my first like dub cork on concrete, because I did Gumby swing dub on concrete. And about 5 minutes after that, there was an earthquake. It was like one of the first or few earthquakes that Virginia has actually ever had. And me and Jefferson Lewis are sitting there like cracking up so hard, because we went to a Starbucks, and literally right after walking to the Starbucks, the whole building started to shake. And it was just a wild, hilarious ass time. Like I kid you not, it was just so funny. And that was like at the beginning of like, I guess, my career. It was just a fun time. That sampler was like one of those.
Which year was that? Do you remember?
I want to say that was 20. I think it was 2010 going into 2011. I might be wrong.
People,
but I want to say
you have to look it up. All the youngsters should definitely look it up. It inspired me a lot back then, and also this video and the one with Anis.
Yes.
La Cienega Nights in LA. So definitely like freaking history.
La Cienega Nights. La Cienega Nights. Now that is a pure piece of work. Dustin Shepard. Honestly, I feel like that was a stroke of work. That was a masterpiece. Like him and his editing skills I've always been a fan of his editing skills and his work. La Cienega Nights, especially with Anis, and just seeing Anis just rip basic combos on concrete and still make them look honestly as fire as a dub cork at the time period, to make your basics look that good, that it was just beautiful. Like I watched that sampler so many times because the vibes the vibes were pure goodness. So much goodness. Like I you know, and he's one of my he's a great friend. You know, I grew up watching his stuff, from martial arts tournaments to La Cienega Nights to, you know, battling him at White Lotus and battling him at HKPK. And, you know, it just hits differently when you see a tricker of that magnitude just doing the basics and making everything look that incredible. You know, La Cienega Nights was one of the most iconic samplers in the tricking community, in my opinion.
I know. It's also changed my direction, my life, and gave me a goal, you know, to hunt, you know, to get out of Germany, or just to discover the world, to see where tricking can bring you as a tool, as a, you know, it's a gift.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a really beautiful thing what connects us, you know. So I'm really honored to hear about your thoughts about Anis and seeing all of this, man. It's how connected we are.
It brings back so much. It brings back so much, like so many good times, you know. Like as long as I've been tricking, you know, stuff like this, like, you know, especially during the early years, like I can honestly say, like, you know, it changed my life in absolutely so many ways. It's just, I can't even begin to imagine. Like, if you'd have told me, you know, maybe 5 or 10 years ago that I would travel across the world, I traveled to like 8 different countries and areas. If you had told me that just for flipping, just for tricking, I would have probably, like, I don't know, I probably would have laughed at you. I'm not gonna lie. But, you know, I've been absolutely grateful to be able to do what I've been able to do. You know what I mean? Like, I've met the majority of my tricking idols. I've met them. I've talked to them. I've, you know, had conversations with them. I've battled against them, you know? And I honestly could not be more just blessed and honored to be able to, like, travel to Japan and travel to Amsterdam and Germany and, you know, Israel and Italy, and, you know, it's always just mind-boggling that tricking has become that big that you can travel like that. You know, it's mind-boggling. You know, granted, I miss a lot of the earlier year gatherings, like Giga. I really wish I could have gone to Giga, but, you know, at the time it just wasn't feasible. But, you know, it's still just like it's honest. Like I said, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling to be able to now travel the world for events like this and really just be able to hang out with people and train and just, you know, have a good time and have that passion like that, you know?
Thanks, man. Thanks, Ed. It is also, like, for me, I can totally relate to you with the thing of gratitude that every athlete, tricker, everybody in the movement field that gets the chance to travel and meet new people and expand their vision, get inspired, you know, that's a blessing, man.
It is. And honestly, it really, really is. You know, it's to be able to travel, you know, anywhere for an event, like, you know, for a tricking event, to be able to travel, even if it's just within your own country, to be able to travel and you know, go somewhere to meet new people and have fun. Like, honestly, I find that to be one of the greatest things that I've ever been able to do in my life, is just travel to a different place for a tricking gathering, meet the people there, have fun. And even more so, like I said, overseas, you know, even more so overseas. Like, I think one of the biggest things for me is that, like I said, I've gotten to travel to two of my favorite places ever. Actually, three. Well, I'm sorry, three. Three of my favorite places ever, and I've been able to do it more than once. You know what I mean? Like, and it's because of tricking. Like, I did not think I would ever get to travel to Japan, you know, much less I did it twice. And, you know, Amsterdam, did it 3 times. Italy, where my girlfriend currently lives, I've been there twice. You know, like I did not think tricking would allow me to be able to do something like that. And I'm always very like grateful every time I get invited somewhere or I choose to go somewhere that I have that ability, you know?
What was your most favorite event? Like, I'm just showing Hooked. I've never been to Hooked, so how did you experience Hooked? And what could you share from that?
All right, so Hooked is. I'm about to fangirl real quick. It's gonna be a fangirl moment. We're gonna have this. Hooked Gathering, honestly, is just. It's one of those experiences that like it's like, for me, it was like going to Disney World or Disneyland. I have never been to Disney. I've been to Disneyland or Disney World once. Been to Disney World once. Or no, sorry, twice. 3 times, I think. I don't remember anymore. But it's like going there, but 4 times better. You know? Hooked Gathering is probably some of the most beautiful energy you'll ever have. Like, it is literally a massive complex filled with trickers. You know, like most gatherings have like, you know, maybe 100 to 200 people. No, Hooked Gathering has like 300 to 400 people. And from different countries, you know, not just Europe, you're talking Europe, you know, Asia, the Middle East. Like you've got, you know, people from different areas, you know, Spain, you've got Central America, you've got, you know, North America, South America, like
a complete international.
It's a completely international gathering.
Really, that's
you know, it's everybody. It's everybody. You got Asia, like you got people that are coming in to just hang out for a couple of days, and the amount of love that you feel in that gathering, the amount of hype that you feel, the amount of just beautiful energy that you get from training there, it's incredible. It's nothing. It's like nothing else that I've been able to experience. I can only say that, you know, going to Hooked Gathering for me is like, for me, it's like my birthday, Christmas, and landing like the most absolute bomb trick that you can ever think of in one shot. And it goes on for 3 to 4 days. Like 3 to 4 days. That is the amount of like beauty that is Hooked. You know, not only that, but then I also feel like, especially like if you're not like, even if you're not battling, like just to go to Hooked, and let's say, you know, you land something for the first time at Hooked. It's not like when you go home and you have everybody cheering for you. No, you have the world cheering for you at that moment. It's not just your friends. It's not just the people you train with. It's the world, because everybody's in that gym for one single purpose, that is what that is about.
That's like the Genki Dama in Dragon Ball.
Pretty much. That's exactly what that is. It's exactly what that is.
What I would always wanted to know is how do you prepare for battles? Like what mindset do you go in, or are you having certain rituals you would like to share? You know, I always was interested.
So my battle mentality has changed over the years. In my early years, I would just go in with the mindset of just wanting to like completely stomp anybody that I was battling. Like that was like my whole mindset as a young one. And then over the years, I actually, like, I've learned that now my battle mindset is that I go in, first goal, have fun. Absolute first goal is to have fun with my battle. Second goal, play my own game. Play my own game and be able to do what I feel like is the best adequate, not even adequate, the best and most and the strongest responses that I can. To be and then you know, to be honest, I've actually taken something that I heard in anime. I come to find out that this was also said in real life, but I took it from anime where I actually took it from the anime Kenichi, The Strongest Disciple. And it's something I still hold true to, is that when you spar, you fight somebody, or you're in a battle, it's a conversation with that other person. You know, whether it's with your fist or with your moves, it's a conversation with that other person. And the more that you can converse with that other person through this movement, through this form, the better you'll be able to hear them. And I've always, I started to, and that was about, you know, I was around like 19, 20. That's when it started to click. And I was like, okay, I get that. I honestly understand that. And I've always held on to that. So like now when I go into battles, I'm like, first of all, I'm going to have fun. Second of all, I want to make sure I'm able to respond very well. And then third, I want to be as, you know, openly raw as possible, but still a bit more uplifting when I can be. You know, if I'm in a battle and I want to win hard, yeah, I'm going to go hard and I'm going to go strong. But I always want to make sure that I'm being respectful when I battle, and I give props where props is due, because, you know, that's just the type of person that I am. And I've won battles and I've lost battles, you know. But I always try to make sure that I give props to whoever I'm battling with, because I'm grateful for that experience. I'm grateful for that person battling me, you know. One of the biggest, I feel like one of my favorite moments battling is actually this past year, when I battled Fuju in the first round. Now, we all know Fuju has been killing the game lately. Shout out to Fuju, like that he's like one of my favorite triggers right now. And he just came out the game, like he just came out ready. He was ready for it. You know, he came out and he stomped that battle. I'm not afraid to say that I'm not afraid, nor am I ashamed to say that I got handled. I did. Point, you know, point blank. I did. And what made it even better for me was the fact that when he won, he actually, and hopefully he won't get mad at me for saying this, but he cried because he felt honored to have been able to battle me and honored to have won. And I told him, dude, you don't need to cry. Like you won, you came prepared. I was just not as prepared as you were. And I respect that. You know, I respect the fact that you came out and you stomped the gate. Like I've had that happen to me before. I mean, you know, Shosei did that to me the year before. And I've always been blessed to be able to see this new generation just rise up and battle with them and understand where it's going to go and where it's going to, you know, take them. And like I said, Fuju being his first hook, this man went all the way to the finals. I'm like, the fuck?
That was intense.
My language, but that's what it was. Like, I was like, you know, and that's where I saw this beautiful light in tricking, where it was just like, tricking is it's man, I mean, everybody just need to eat their Wheaties and just go ham. Like, that's it. And like I said,
thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that.
You know, that's what it is. Like, I've like I said, battle mentality wise, like, I love the battle. I love the battle whether I win or lose, because the battle for me is what helps me to see the people and their movement and their words and their heart and their soul, you know, and samplers do the same thing, but it's honestly, to me, it's different when you battle, because you're battling and you're putting your heart and your soul and your pride and your reputation on the line. And then when it's over and you feel that kind of like security with, you know, I just went to battle, I did, you know, what I could. Even if you, and this goes out to everybody, it's like, when you battle, don't take it so hard. Don't beat yourself up over it. Have fun with it, appreciate it, enjoy it, and then just prepare for the next one. And that's what helps battles to be fun. That's what helps battles to progress, in my opinion, to progress the sport forward. You know what I mean?
Powerful words, man. Definitely expressing yourself in a battle and just also testing yourself somehow and the work you put in before, and I mean, conquering obstacles and preparing yourself for the battle. So it should be like a celebration and not, I mean, yes, we play seriously. People go, you know, stuff is real. The air is very hot. I would love to see a hook battle live now, just that you talk about the atmosphere and the energy.
Man, I would love to do that. Like, hopefully if we can get hooked going this year, like, I would love to. I would love to if I could.
And actually, that anime stuff brings me to another part I was always wondering about is that Master Scrolls or the thing in your samplers, what you mentioned, is that related to anime Naruto? Probably.
So, sort of. And that's actually very funny. So that's a full story. So you might want to, you know, buckle up a little bit. So
yeah.
The Master Scrolls came from the 99 Scrolls. The 99 Scrolls actually did come from, you know, my love of anime and my love of, you know, the Japanese culture. That actually came to be while I was at Red Bull Kick It in Korea in 2014. I was actually sitting on, you know, I was in Korea at the time, and I was sitting on the roof with, I believe, Kier, Bailey Payne, I want to say Isaiah Flores from Loop Kicks, and I think a few other people at that time. And we were just talking about, you know, goofy stuff. You know, like how, like, we were talking about, like, you know, 12 wrap 14 and, you know, triple cork swing, you know, full in back out and, you know, just the reckless stuff that you could possibly do. And we were just joking around at the time. And I was like, yo, that's going to be the 99 Scrolls, you know, the 99 Scrolls of Power. Like, that's some stuff that, like, you have to, like, study deep in the mountains to be able to understand and do. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to make a series. You know, as a joke, I was like, you know what, I'm going to make a series called the 99 Scrolls. And I did not know people would actually appreciate it. I didn't realize that they would.
I love it, man. And since then, I started your journey on YouTube. I really enjoyed every sampler you released. And
I appreciate that.
That's a big part about the tricking community. I even spoke with Ethan Turner in the recent episode that is coming out tomorrow. I spoke about samplers and reviving it in a new way. You know, we have more opportunities now, and it's a great thing, man. It just gives the whole spirit another meaning in the community.
It does, and, you know, and I feel like people just need to kind of find that when they're doing their samplers. They need to find their heart and spirit with it. And, you know, little did I know that the 99 Scrolls would honestly, you know, impact a lot of people as it had. Because, you know, people have been asking, and even recently people have been asking me, like, are you bringing the 99 Scrolls back? I was like, well, maybe.
You must.
You know, maybe I'll bring it back.
You must.
You know, I'll bring back the 99 Scrolls, maybe the Master Scrolls every so often. But the other big thing is that, you know, all of that stuff we were joking around about in 2014 has now become reality. You know,
insane.
And had I known back then what I do now, of how things were going to go down, I wish I would have been able to be there for the entire, like the greatest moments I feel like that have been held in tricking history, you know, with, you know, like I said, just like trip, swing, trip. We were talking about that. We were joking around about that. That's been done. You know, quad cork, that's been done. You know, freaking, you know, full and back outs, like that's been, you know, like swing, you know, shit, you know, the snatch cannons, like everybody's doing freaking snatch cannons now, like, and I'm like, what the absolute hell? Like, I did not think any of this would ever become possibility in the rapid way that it has, but you know, it has, and that's the craziest thing. And that's where, like, you know, I feel like I said, like samplers like that, like the 99 Scrolls, and then like, you know, a lot of the older samplers, that's where I feel like I really want that to come back so we can kind of see how, you know, from the times, like, you know, and this is one of the most famous samplers in tricking history, you know, Scotty Skelton's Atlantis, you know, and Lion Arcade, Lion's Arcade, you know, to go from that to what we have now. Like, I really would love to see more of that feeling from then and now. And I'm starting to see more of it now. And it's coming back. It's coming back. I just want to keep seeing that.
That's why YouTube is, for me, it's more and more appealing, and especially, I mean, to share a true journey, to get to know more about the person. And yes, Instagram has his use, and also, I mean,
yeah,
people use that short clips, but it's not the same. It's definitely not the same.
No. It's not, but at the same time, you know, it changes back and forth. So I feel like it's just a matter of like how the community itself will just kind of travel along more so as it has been in recent times.
And what is your favorite like inspirational anime? What do you currently?
That one is extremely hard to answer because I've watched so many that have actually inspired me. You know, apart from Dragon Ball Z, you know, Naruto, Bleach, one of my favorite ones was Air Gear, and that's actually more so kind of like it's actually an aggressive inline skating anime.
Damn.
And because I used to skate a bit, and the way that, you know, that they do their moves is very similar to tricking. They have pretty much the same inversions. They have the same some of the same inversions, you know, the same heart, the same push, the same drive. And it's, you know, it was one of those things where I was just like, dude, like this is my style right here. Like this is my style right here. And, you know, that one, and then there were animes like, and I'll be honest, I kind of looked at more of like the obscure animes like Kenichi, the Strongest Disciple.
I must check that out, man. You must send me the.
I'll send them to you. I got you. There's just been like different ones over the years, like little ones here and there, you know, like little 1 season animes, maybe 1 or 2 season animes. So I'll definitely send you a link of those once I can like put them all together. But yeah, like, you know, there were a lot of animes like that kind of just inspired me and kind of pushed my drive.
You mentioned skateboarding. What is actually your background like? You started with skateboarding.
So before I was a tricker, like I never like, I did like, you know, I skateboarded as a kid. Like I didn't do anything like super big or pro or anything, just, you know, just regular skateboarding. Skating was something that I love to do because I love to ice skate, and I also love to rollerblade. Before I was ever a tricker, I actually danced. I did some dancing. And I've also done competitive cheerleading. I was an all-star cheerleader too, for a time back in around 2013, 2014. What else have I done? I don't remember. actually. I think that was about it. Like in terms of movement.
What age have you been when you started tumbling or?
When I started like tumbling, I want to say I was like I've been tumbling since like I've been just like chucking backflips and stuff since I was like 5. Like I was 5 years old. I saw Power Rangers for the first time. I went outside and tried to chuck a backflip and I crashed hard. Like I wrecked myself. Like it was funny but painful. And ever since then, I just kept trying it. You know, I was a backyard tricker before I knew what tricking was. And I just did that until I was about, I want to say 14, 15. Until I was about 15. That's when I met, you know, my friends. I met my friends, you know, in middle school and, you know, going into high school. And I, you know, used to just throw backflips and stuff like that, you know, Power Ranger kicks and stuff. And it wasn't until I met my friends and then went to Taekwondo, because they gave me like a pass to go check out a Taekwondo class. And it took an unfortunate death in my family for me to be able to really start Taekwondo. And when I started Taekwondo, I met my tricking family at that point, my martial arts family, my tricking family. And then from there, like the rest was just history, you know, and we've, you know, that's where it started. But when I started tumbling, I was like 5 or 6.
How old have you been when you joined the Taekwondo? I
was 15. I was like 15, 16 at the time. So,
man, sick.
You know, it's like I said, like, to imagine, like I said, like starting Taekwondo, like I just needed a place, you know, I had my place to go with my friends. I spent 6 days a week at that place. And, you know, from the time I got out of school till probably 9, 10 o'clock at night. And then, you know, going home, trying to do my homework. And then honestly, I would sneak out of the house at like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning to go train outside in front of my house every single night, almost every single night, until I did that pretty much every single day for about maybe 2016. Because then I got hurt in a motorcycle accident, and then I just stopped training outside for a while because I didn't want to re-injure myself off of many things. But, you know, I stayed in Taekwondo till about 2008. I started in 2006, 2007, and I stopped in 2008. But ever since then, like ever since like 2006, like when I would train outside on the concrete, I just went from, that was my whole life. So, you know, training outside, training with my friends, going to parks, sessions, martial arts competitions. I mean, martial arts competitions is where I first met like the early pioneers, you know, Anise, Jeremy Marinas, Danny Graham, Luke Broadlake, David Armstrong, you know, Mo Alafrangi, you know, just the early, you know, the early
the
guys.
Path makers, you know, path makers.
Path makers, Anthony Gooch, Chris Balua, like Gary Ip and them, you know. I met them all at Taekwondo at the early circuit days. I met a lot of them at the early circuit days, you know. I mean, you know, Austin Crane, you know, Ross Constant, all of those people, like I met them at tournaments, you know. And so it was just wild to see that many people doing all of those things. And then like now to knowing them being my friends and, you know, like I said, having battled against them, creating, you know, friendships with these guys, like it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I couldn't be more grateful for that, you know? Couldn't be more grateful.
And how does your current training regime or schedule or conditioning look like? I mean, you mentioned you trained 6 days a week, every night, but
as of currently, well, before COVID, before the COVID crisis kind of shut down the world, I was training 6 days a week. 6, 7, actually no, I was training 7 days a week because I worked with open gyms on Tuesday and Thursday nights. Cause then I would train and just make sure everybody's, keep being safe and, having fun. And then, Mondays, Wednesdays, Friday nights, I'd go into the gym by myself and I would train for like 2 or 3 hours. Saturdays, I'd go and train for 2 or 3 hours, if I wasn't filming something just to train. And then Sunday nights, I coach gymnastics. And then I run another adult open gym program. So I was training then. So I was training just about 7 days a week, for about 2 or 3 hours at a time. So, and that schedule has been like that pretty much for the last year and a half, almost, with the exception of small injuries and, other little times where I couldn't get into the gym, but that's pretty much my schedule as of currently. Right now, during the COVID crisis, I haven't been training as much. I've been trying to get outside, but, just with all the rules and regulations, that's been difficult. So, you work on basic stuff, basic kicks here and there. When you can get a grass session in, you go in grass session and have fun and just not stress it too much.
All right. So, but how many hours is it per day usually if you train? I mean, not just drinking. Do you do any particular other conditioning?
I'll do some tumbling. I'll do some conditioning and tumbling. There are some times where I'll go in and I won't do as much tricking. More so I'll do, because I am a black belt Taekwondo, I do, forms, or I'll do, weapons work, like bow staff, kamas, sword. Sometimes I'll dance. I love dancing. Dancing is still one of my biggest passions in this world. And then sometimes I'll just go in just to, condition. Hell, there have been times where I go into the gym and I don't even train. I just sit on the gym floor and I just think. And I just am in that space because that space is like my home. And I just sit and I think and I listen to my own thoughts and I brainstorm and I come up with ideas, But in terms of actual training, it's usually about 2.5, 3 hours. So, and that'll consist of, whatever my body feels like it wants to do at that point.
And any music you prefer while sessioning, or just going with the flow of the day? I
just go with the flow, to be honest. I've listened to everything from, and I'm not afraid to admit it, I've listened to everything from country music to rap to EDM to old school techno, the Rude Sandstorm techno, to classical music. I listen to all genres because you never know what inspiration you're gonna take from any genre. I've listened to blues, to jazz, to indie, metal, rock, pop. It's just whatever I happen to hear at that point or at that time is what will influence my training session or my style for a bit. More recently, it's been more kind of pop-ish, and the more kind of fast-paced, but at the same time, a little bit, of, rap in between there, a little bit of, maybe some grunge. Actually, I don't know if I want to say grunge. I don't know if I've actually really listened to grunge music. I kind of have to figure that one out, but pop, some classical, definitely classical music. Classical music for me, especially when you're training, depending on what your mood is, it can be the most inspiring thing ever, I still remember one night where I was listening to, I think it was a remix of Moonlight Sonata. And I turned on the actual piece. And I came up with a whole combo within the span of about 2 minutes. Wow. And I just was trying to knock it out all night, just because that song put me in a mood to where I could see each trick combining on beat with the notes in the song. And that's what consists of when I train, is just I'm listening to the beats, I'm listening to the flow of the song, and I'm trying to pin certain moves on beat every single time, because it's they're power-ups and they're steps. you can hit that beat, you take a step up, you hit that beat, you take a step up, hit that beat, you take a step up, and it just ramps up until you finish.
That's some superhero stuff, man.
I mean, and maybe I don't know if I'm the only one who does it like that. If I am, that's awesome. If not, I'm grateful to see that other people do the same thing. That's just how I've always been with my own tricking. It's just like, that's kind of what I've always, I guess, looked for when I started doing combos, is like, whatever I'm listening to or whatever happens to be in my mind, I start pinning a beat to it, or I start pinning, like connect the dots type points. And that's
also
how
probably
my
based on your background, everything melts together, and that is what makes your style so unique. If I just think about it as a whole, I don't know you, but I've witnessed your process, so it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's like a skill,
It's honestly, like I've looked at different things over the years for inspiration. Like, and people always seem to be very surprised when I tell them these things. Like, I've taken from aggressive inline skating. I've taken from BMX and motocross. I love BMX and motocross. I love him. And I took inspiration from them. I took inspiration from snowboarding. I took inspiration from, I've taken inspiration from, like, ballet and, just different, like, little things. And it doesn't have to be tricking that you take inspiration from. It doesn't have to be gymnastics. It doesn't have to be martial arts. It can be anything that sets your mind ablaze. There's a BMX move that I saw early in my early years, probably when I was like 22, 23. And I don't remember the guy's name, but he did it and he called it a cash roll. And to be honest, I was like, dude, I wonder if you could do that in tricking. Well, come to find out, it resembles a tack. It resembles a tack, and he called it a cash roll. And I was like, and I didn't think about it until like maybe a year later. I was like, holy shit, excuse my language. This is a tack, or a cack roll. And it's just something like that helped me to figure out tack. And then when I saw tack later on, I was like, dang, okay, all right, this is cool. I got this.
All right.
But yeah, like, it's certain things, will inspire me, even though they seem like the most remote and obstruct things, they inspire me.
And what,
you know what I mean?
What gave you the decision to give you this Kid Wolf name? I mean, your YouTube is also Kid Wolf. I'm gonna link everything in. I never actually figured that out. So
the whole Kid Wolf thing came from like my early years. I've always had a love of wolves, always. And people used to give me that compliment, like, they used to come and say, like, you have like a wolfish personality, where like I jumped around a lot as a kid, like,
wild and animalistic.
Just a little bit, And the thing is that like I've also have a very deep love and respect of the Native American culture, and I've always and I know there were some parts in my family. I think it was on my mom's side that we have some Native American blood in us, and at the time I was trying to figure that out. And I've always loved the wolves. Back then I had like 60,000 different nicknames. My friends would give me, the legendary Will Coneys, Wildebeest. I think Stephen Rennie used to call me 3LW. For some odd reason, it wasn't 3LW. It was like, was it 3LW? It was like 30-foot Will, because I used to jump so high in the air. I think you remember him giving me that nickname.
You got good airtime. I like your airtime.
It's just, there were so many nicknames, but then, I think at that point, like when I realized like how much, I guess, kind of like, I kind of saw like one night there was I think it was a documentary on wolves, and it just hit me so hard, and it kind of resonated with me, that I was like, you know what? maybe I'll just be a kid wolf. You know, I was like, that's kind of where it came to. And for years, nobody really knew that except my friends. And I never really put it out there until maybe around when I started, you know, putting in the contact lenses. And that was around 2014, 2015, I want to say. And that was when I did it, like, you know, publicly. I put the contact lenses in and everybody said, you look like a wolf when you train and when you battle. And that's when it stuck, like, out in the open. And at that point, that's when everything kind of just took off. You know what I mean?
Manifested in that.
It manifested. And that's what brought me to, I guess, that's kind of what brought me to the Kid Wolf being like my moniker and my nickname. And then ever since then, that's just what it's been. And that's how I've always been with it. And, you know, I appreciate that because, like I said, my love of wolves is, you know, it's not just the wolves. It's just the spirit and the nature of the wolves. It's the spirit and nature of nature itself. I'm a nature kid. I love being outdoors. I love running through forests. I love, you know, I love being out in the open and connected as wolves are. Wolves have a very ancient and very beautiful but tragic history. You know, a lot of people see the beauty in them and hear the beauty in them. And a lot of people see them as, you know, they've been procured in certain areas, you know, as evil and harmful and menacing. And wolves themselves, I feel like, have a yin and yang, you know, story. They're both the same sides of the coin. It's just people see them differently, you know? And
stuff, man.
Yeah, and that's kind of like how I've thought about it. That's kind of how I've always seen the world, and it's just a matter of how you choose to kind of put yourself out there. And like I said, in the Kid Wolf, like, I love being that because people kind of see it, and when I tell them the story and I help them to try to understand it, and I'm just like, you know what, I feel like this will help, and people understand it, and they've come to love it, and they've come to appreciate it, and you know, that's one of the biggest things is that I appreciate that they appreciate it, you know. Because that's just me. I just love doing what I'm doing and, you know, tricking my friends. Like, I honestly, I didn't think I would have the impact that I have had on the community. And that's not to be egotistical. That's just like me being just honest. Like, I didn't think I would ever have this big of an impact on the tricking community, you know, but I appreciate it. And I'm honored that I can. You know, so anytime that I get a chance to talk to people and they ask the questions, like, I'm always very happy to answer and explain it as best as I can.
No, man, you do. And they just mentioned you. I mean, shout out to Kojo, Sam Kojo, Kojo's Trick Lab, and Travis Vong, Jam, joining All Movement. They just mentioned you recently. And then I had this.
Oh, really? I actually did not know that. I've been so, like, busy with just my own stuff. I had not realized. I'll have to check that out. Well, shout out to them though. I'll definitely have to check that out.
Hell yeah, they did just Travis invited Kojo also via Zoom, or I don't know, they did it. Great technologies we have, and they spoke about you, and then I had an epiphany. I'm like, why not connect to you? I always watch your stuff.
Snap! Well, you know, shout out to them. Well, shout out to them. I'm gonna have to check that out now. Like, I didn't know that, but I mean, I'll check that out now. I love Travis too. I love Travis and Kojo. Like, those are
definitely
two, like,
positive force in the community, and that brings me to another question I always ask, and two questions I actually always ask before we go to the end. I mean, I could go on for hours to talk about.
I
live for that, but. What do you wish for the community in general, and what are your personal goals for the rest of the year?
Well, to be honest, I think my own personal goals for the rest of the year are just to kind of, like, you know, keep developing my style a little bit more. Like, there's still a lot that I really want to do in terms of, like, I have a few goals in mind that I want to hit. A few people know them, but I don't want to make them super duper public just yet. Just tricking, like just tricks wise. But I think my biggest goal is just really settling my style down. Now that also there might be a few kind of changes with that, just because of certain things that I'm working on, or that I've been kind of working on outside of tricking. And depending on how that goes, I, may or may not have as much time to train, but that's okay, because anytime that I get to be in the gym, when we open back up, I get to be back in the gym, or I get to have sessions, I'm going to be drilling stuff out. I would love to be able to be battle ready, even if, and what I mean by battle ready is just being able to have everything kind of on lock and comfortable, to where I can throw it easy, like very well and kind of easily. To be honest, I would love to have like my triple corks. I would love to have those down extremely comfortably. I'll be honest. I want to have a Fuju type triple cork where this man just spams it so effortlessly. I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna sit down. You can spam the triple corks. I'm gonna sit down. I'm just gonna watch. I'm gonna study. I want to have it just like that, but at the same time, I kind of want to be able to work on a bit more creative stuff this year too, and just kind of like run that route a little bit more. In terms of what I want to see for the tricking community, honestly, as of currently, I think I'm seeing what I really would have wanted is that people are starting to kind of find their own way, because recently we've seen more of an uptick in kind of creative movements and a lot more like pushing the boundary levels and pushing the boundary limits, versus like maybe the last year or two when everybody was just focused on power moves and just one-shotting stuff and like, hitting just like the most crazy like twist and double backflips and stuff like that. But I feel like people now are starting to go back to kind of a creative route, and they're going back to like more of a personal feel to it. And I think that's where I really want to see the tricking community go. That's where I've wanted to see it go. Just people just being people, being themselves and just doing themselves and bringing that whole vibe and spirit and personality to the game. So, but yeah, I think the tricking community right now is on a good path. I think we're doing really well. And I would love to see it continue further.
Hell yeah. And I'm also trying to do my part in that way. And that's why I do it for my personal information, because I love to get to know people now while we're restricted with travels and stuff, so
yeah,
it's been a challenge, and I always wanted to travel to the States. Let's see how it continues with the current world situation. But
dude, I hope you do, man. I feel like you'll have fun with gatherings here. Like hopefully, like you said, hopefully the travel restrictions will, loosen so we can go back to traveling with everybody and, holding gatherings and having fun. I honestly love going overseas to gatherings and meeting new people. Like there's still, like I said, there's still places where I still want to go and meet and train and have fun. So I'm hoping that, we can get the travel restrictions, that they'll be, that they'll be, what's the word I'm looking for? That they'll loosen up a bit so we can all kind of travel and meet and hang out again. So I'm hoping.
Are we gonna stay positive? And I try.
We have to stay positive. That's all we can do is stay positive, stay very, stay very positive on it, and hope for the best. That's all we can do.
And what I also always take as an opportunity while I'm exchanging with someone, I'm collecting ideas for a new challenge. Actually, that's my way to give back to the community and just open up new opportunities to actually making valuable things happen and positive growth happen in the community. So the last thing I did was with Matteo, the 100 corks challenge in a day. So if you upload,
that's incredible.
Yeah, he said so. He inspired me, and then I honored the episode with that challenge. So I donate everybody that records 100 corks in one day, 20 BAT token. That's like $5, but you just upload it on a Brave verified YouTube account, and it's a nice little gimmick, And
nice. I mean, that's something that I feel like will definitely help the community out. You know, I'm also trying my best to help the community as best I can, whether it's by, you know, helping people out with like tips in my inbox, you know, or just talking to them when they ask questions. Like I try my best to help out and be, you know, explain things. Honestly, I've been working on trying to see if I can, you know, possibly get some tutorials down on YouTube and, you know, putting those out there as well. And I actually have tutorials on, you know, a few different sites. I have them on Adrenaline. I also have them on Kojo's Trick Lab. So, you know, but I also would love to do my own on my website. I mean, on YouTube. So I'm honestly, I feel like I might do that as well. Like, and I've been working at that too, trying to figure out which ones I want to do. So, but also, you know, once, like I said, once restrictions, you know, kind of loosen up, you know, seeing if I can, you know, help with, you know, gatherings or, you know, teach or whatnot. Because I honestly, like I said, like I love being able to help people with their tricks and watching them learn new stuff and watching them kind of get it or variate it, you know, more variations. Who doesn't want more variations? And kind of progress in that way. So
you give them extra scrolls, super special.
I honestly, I give them the scrolls and then they create their own scrolls.
Yeah.
You know, whether they say that or not, that's my biggest goal is for people to create their own scrolls, whether it's just one or it's 99. As long as you're creating your own scroll, that's what makes it worthwhile to me.
I mean, if you do the tutorials or if you offer some sort of service, I bet there is a great way to also support you. I mean, this is such valuable information content. I mean, it's gold, I would say. Why not also get something from it? So we really, with this Brave, we can. I mean, it doesn't come from your own pocket. It comes from advertisements if you opt in. And
and like I said, and that's also something I know. Like with YouTube right now, there's kind of been like a weird kind of up and down with, you know, content creators and like trying to stabilize that out and trying to, you know, make it so that everybody can have like their own original content without, you know, and without like causing too many issues and causing too many problems. And I know YouTube's been having that bit of a weird issue over the last like year or two or a couple of years. So that's also been a factor as to why like I haven't like done like ad revenues or tried to go like with the monetization program. But I mean, even this year, I'm think that's something that I've been looking heavily into. I just need to be able to, for myself, make the content that I feel like will be of help, but also make the content that I feel represents me in the best light and in the best way. Sure, and I think honestly, that's something that I've been kind of wanting to do, you know, and I've had the time to kind of sit down and go through everything and kind of work on everything. And now I'm starting to put stuff into place.
Amazing, man. What do you think about really using those alternative revenue services like, you know, for instance, cryptocurrency and Brave, and basically bypassing to be reliant on the ad revenue from YouTube itself? So now we could, as a whole community, you know, donate money to content creators. Like if you now constantly... I've heard about it. I've not looked into it. And you know, like with stuff with cryptocurrency and the things where, you know, like, you know, and just different avenues of ad revenue. Like I honestly, personally, I don't know much about it. I'm the kind of person where, you know, I know the basic stuff. Like I know the basic, like, you know, ad revenue, like monetization. Outside of that, I have no real knowledge, and I don't know. And I feel like I want to look, and I've been kind of looking into it here and there and kind of just like trying to understand. But I also feel like, you know, if that is a great way to help the community, if it helps the community, and if it helps, you know, everybody being able to either make a living or to be able to share and create stuff and get people, you know, who are really putting their work down and out there, you know, that they do get paid for their work and their time and their, you know, their efforts. Because I mean,
to spend hours on informative tutorials and gatherings and stuff like that, it's not cheap, and unless you're perfect, unless you're good with like not making any money and you're just doing this out of your own kindness, which is a beautiful thing. I mean, I honestly feel like those people who are putting that much work in there, they deserve to get paid. They deserve to be able to, make something for the time they've put into what they're doing. So.
For definitely. And that's why I say it's a positive thing, creates an alternative to support either athletes, endorse athletes, support events, support travels. As a community, then you can vote, see if it's for the best of everybody. I mean, if it's
exactly.
And it just opens up another door to new ways. And,
it opens up the dialogue. It opens up the talking, which is something that is honestly very needed within the community. We just make sure that we're all that we all can have a chance to talk and be open-minded and express our own like feelings and concerns. And like I said, yeah, we definitely need that.
Definitely, because there's no excuses. This whole project also came out of nowhere for me, because I realized the potential if we really hold together. And I mean, it won't happen from today to tomorrow. People with the internet back then also didn't get familiar from one to the other day. But just to realize that there is a positive force that can be used as a resource for everybody to benefit, to grow the whole tricking community movement, whatever community you are in, either if it's dance, fitness, whatever, just to create another path, to be the brave one to walks the other path, So I combine it. I also draw inspiration from anime, and that's this just to hear everything from you today. Really, I am more than grateful. I don't know. I never imagined that will happen, or that I will start something like this.
and I'm honored. I'm honored that that we can take the time to talk, and like, trust me, I'm absolutely honored. Like, anytime I get to talk and help out and share my own views, and hopefully, like I said, somebody will take from it and run with it and build their own style or build their own mindset on it and bring more to the game. The only thing that I love more than tricking, and everybody who knows me can verify this, is honey buns and bacon, and my girlfriend.
Oh, do you follow any special diet, or you just eat whatever you want?
I'm not gonna lie, my diet is not the greatest. My diet is honestly not the greatest. I kind of just eat what I eat at the time, and I'll eat a lot of junk food. Like, one of my favorite things to eat is honey buns. Everybody knows this. Honey buns and bacon. If you know me, you know me. Like, that's
bacon is
what it is.
Good. Bacon is always good.
Bacon is beautiful. It is a lifesaver. But recently more so, I've been trying to like kind of, fix my diet a little bit better, and make sure that I am eating the different food groups and really putting those into work and putting that into practice. And honestly, I've been cutting down on like soda and sugary stuff. I've been trying to, but being in the house and not being able to train, my sugar and snack intake has been at an all-time high. So we're trying to bring that down. A bit. But I mean, as of currently, I'm trying to work on, just making sure my disciplines, especially when it comes to the sugar stuff. Like, I'm a sugar kid. That's been my life since I was a kid. Like, sugar has been daily thing. But, I also am now consciously making an effort to work on my diet and, make sure everything's good and golden, drinking more water, having a little bit of sugar here. But, like I said, like, as long as I get to have my honey buns, I'm good. I don't care. Like, you give me like, and a lot of people have done this for me, and I find it to be, and I'm honored, if there's one sugary thing that I have to have, it's the honey buns. I don't care. Like, the honey buns they're a staple. They're a lifelong staple. Like, I have to have. I've had people, even for my birthday, I've had people buy me a box of them, and And I'm just like, you are now a lifelong friend. Thank you. Like you buy me a box of honey buns, you are a lifelong friend. I will love you forever. Like forever. And, you know, it's just like I said, like, that's one of those things where, like, you know, everybody who knows me knows that, like, that's just one of those things where I tell them, you know, look, I'll eat a honey bun and then I'll go out and I'll spam tricks. They're just like, how do you do that? Like, how does that work?
And celebrating that, or you gave me a genius idea. I try to come up with a challenge on every Hyperbolic cast at the end to just reward everybody that is brave enough and determined enough to finish a sampler. And the last one is from Ethan Turner to honor his appearance and commitment of time to this episode. It is a 3-month sampler, no older footage than 3 months, uploaded also on the Brave Verified account, like how to get Brave Verified, and upload on YouTube. The information is on the website. I'm going to put everything in the description, also your links and everything. But
I appreciate that.
For you now, I think I have a special thing. I would love to just, you know, say my thanks to you for taking out the time, and so that you can get your favorite snack, whatever it is. I'm gonna also donate you 20 BAT tokens for if you bring the Master Scrolls back to life. Basically,
dude, I've been thinking about it. I'm working on it. I'm working on just creating samplers right now.
That's my promise. So if you revive at least one new little inspiration.
You know, like I said, honestly, I've been thinking about reviving the 99 scrolls / Master Scrolls. So that was already kind of a plan. So that might actually come to fruition a little bit later on once I gather a lot more footage. So just be ready for that one.
Kaboom, man. Thank you for taking the time off with me and just, you know, sharing the good vibe, sharing your background and insights. I was also wondering,
and I thank you for that, and I thank you for I'm honored that that I could take the time and be allowed to share my views and share my insight and my goals on just tricking community and what it's meant to me. I'm honestly very honored, and I'm very appreciative of that.
Same from my side, brother. I was just wondering about one thing, and it just came to me. Matteo mentioned like his superpower, why he has this nice ratio from upper body to lower body. It's powerful, strong, also dubs and all of that stuff. About flair, and when did you learn actually flair? That's something that also interested me to know.
Flair, I actually learned how to do it maybe about like 2013, 2014. But I didn't get really good at it. Honestly, I didn't get really, really good at it up until maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. And that's just when everything kind of clicked. When I finally found like the perfect ratio of like hips being off the ground, legs being in the air, hands far apart. And it took me about a good, solid 3 or 4 years to kind of master down to a point where I could kind of get it. Like even within the last year, I just recently have been able to start doing, 2 to 3 flares back to back. I got 4 once. I got 4 flares in one shot once. That's still my record, and I'm fine with that, But it took me a while just to kind of get down like the proper technique for me and the ratio. Just trying to find the balance to a point where now like I can do it without too many issues and too many problems.
And I mean, how many years did it take you to get like 3 or 4?
It took me 3 to 4 years. 3 to 4 years, and that was just like on and off.
Can you do them both sides or one side?
Just one side as of currently. I've been trying to time it for the other side, but just like anything else, if you've never trained it on the other side, it's going to take some time for it to become good. So it's right now, I'm not gonna lie, it looks like some crap. It looks like some crap. We ain't gonna lie about this. But I'm still working on it, trying to understand it on the other side and trying to get it down.
What's your main tricking side? Because I noticed you're lefty actually on one side when you twist. I don't know if you tumble the
So my main tricking side is I trick to the right. But I can trick on the left side. The thing is that I'm an ambi twister, so I can twist on both sides.
That was it.
It's very, so twisting, it depends on the style of twisting too. Like tumbling twisting is a lot more comfortable on my left side, like when I'm tumbling twisting. When I'm tricking twisting, right side is a lot easier and it's a lot more comfortable and powerful. But like for gainer switch to dub cork, it's a lot easier to go like up and over my head on my left side versus like if I do like TDR, dub cork, or triple cork, it's easier on my right side because I can power it and not have to worry too much about up and over, but more so just powering, and the rotational spin is a little bit easier on that side.
So you have more control for the flip momentum on the one side and more control for the twist power on the other side.
Yep.
Damn, superpower, superhero stats right there.
You know, honestly, like I said, most of my tumbling, like I said, when I tumble, because I used to tumble more so, like I said, just tumbling was my biggest thing as a kid. You know, twisting, like I said, twisting on the left side was just easiest. And, you know, twisting on the right just became more comfortable power-wise, and I found it a lot easier. But, you know, I like I said, like, one of the big things is that, you know, like I said, like with the gainer switch to dub corks on both sides, each one has its benefits and each one has its cons. You know, benefit of dub cork on the left is that it's comfortable and I can do it without too many problems. But at the same time, I can't spin as fast. So I mean, I can try, but it's not like I haven't been able to do it yet. And that's fine with me, and I'm okay with that. Versus like being on the right side, I can spin faster, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm gonna go like completely up and over. I'll go more off to the side, which is harder because my body will start to kind of peel away in the air, and you kind of have to make that correction mid-air to kind of keep yourself on track to land. So, you know, it works for both things. It just depends on what I'm doing.
Yes. So you need actually more power on the other side then, like.
Yeah, I would need more power on the left side to be able to do a lot of what I'm doing on the right side. And on the right side, I pretty much have a good balance, but I don't have as much flip as I would like. So that's something I'm still working on. You know, like I said, pros and cons on both sides. Like I said, I've been working on just learning, you know, getting basic kicks and stuff like TDR on the left side and, you know, doing basic combos on the left side. So I'm trying to work on that as well. You know, it's a work in progress. So you definitely try to create more balance and just be more complete, man. Yeah, like to be honest, I would love to have a Dan Perez / Jeremy Marinas, you know, dual side type feel.
Damn. Snap swipe both sides, easy.
Yo, for him to be able to, yeah, and that's the thing. Is like I've kind of done that, but not to the same level that he has done it, and I've always wanted that because I've done. The only time I've snappooed on my left side was when I do G switch, scissor, snappoo. It's the only time, and then I snap on my regular side. But you know, I want to, like I said, like. Jeremy Marinas is one great example of dual sides. Dan Perez, honestly, and as much as I talked to him, like just seeing him do stuff on both sides, that also set the bar for me to be able to do everything clean on both sides as much as possible. So I've always taken that inspiration. I've just kind of gone with it. Every little bit of time, that every little, you know, when I get a chance, I work both sides. Like now, my left side's starting to be and feel a lot more comfortable and feel a lot better. So I'm happy about that, and I'm still going to continue to work that, you know, while keeping in touch with the right side stuff and not losing those skills.
Like yin and yang, man. And that
yin yang, always.
That being said, brother, for everybody that was listening to this if they come up with a nice idea for a challenge, or you come up with a after this with a great idea for a challenge, then drop it into the comments, and we definitely stay in touch.
Absolutely. I'd love to see that. Now, see, like I said, if I come up with one, I will definitely let everybody know, and I will definitely, put that out there for everybody to see.
Amazing, man. Again, I really, really appreciate the time and the commitment to this thing. Let's keep it growing, man.
I appreciate the invite and the honor, man. And I definitely will. I appreciate, you taking the time out of your day to give me a voice to explain and to, just like I said, put my own opinions and thoughts out there.
For sure, man. Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring.
One love.
One love, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Salute to Virginia, state in America. You have
Virginia sends the love to Austria. Austria community. I send my love. I send my thanks. Thank you very much.
Austrian gang, kaboom.
Yup.
I see you on the other side, bro.
I'll see you on the other side, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Stay in touch. Salute and respect, man.
We'll stay in touch. Salute and respect back.
Move